Smartphones are being used more and more to listen to radio on the move. There are lots of great apps offering thousands of stations within just a few taps. If you don't have a smartphone or simply prefer not to use up your data allowance, a personal digital radio could be for you. This is the Robert SportsDAB5. It's a personal digital radio which receives DAB, DAB+, and FM stations. You can get it from the Roberts website for around £60. When you take the radio out of the packaging, it feels very light. The radio itself weighs 66 grams. That's about half the weight of a smartphone. Once batteries are added, it feels a bit more substantial. The SportsDAB5 comes only in white and the plastic is quite glossy. Any scratches and fingerprints really aren't very obvious. Also in the packaging is an instruction booklet and some earphones. When the radio is switched on for the first time, it will scan for digital radio stations. Each time it's switched on after that, it will go back to the station which was listened to last. The radio is a bit chunkier than a smartphone, but it is still easy to hold. The volume controls fall under the index and middle fingers, while the jogwheel is used with your thumb. The presets and power button are on the top. On the back of the radio there's a key lock switch. This will prevent buttons from being activated when the radio is in a bag or pocket. The jogwheel is used to select stations and access settings. You nudge it up and down to go through the list of stations and then push in to select. This might not be for everyone. There are personal DAB radios with individual buttons for these functions and some people may prefer those. Here in the northeast, the radio found 64 digital stations. Browsing through these can take a while on the jogwheel, so it is well worth using those presets if your favourite stations are Absolute 80s and Magic. The placement of the power and preset buttons on the top of the radio is good, with the 5 preset buttons sitting slightly higher than the round power button. On the display, the station name is shown above the scrolling text. The signal strength, time and battery life are shown across the top. A backlight comes on when you're using the jogwheel or changing volume, and then that switches off after 12 seconds. Indoors, the LCD display is fine, but in direct sunlight the text can be hard to read, with or without that backlight. The font size is good though, so it is easy to see what's on the display when you're out walking. There's no built-in speaker, so only headphones are used with the radio. It's a normal 3.5mm socket, so you can use your existing headphones or those that come with the radio. Sound quality is good, but it does depend on the station that you're listening to. Different stations use different bit rates, so the audio quality does vary as you flick between stations. For any stations which aren't on DAB digital radio, you can switch to the FM mode. The SportsDAB5 does a good job of receiving these stations too, and the scanning on FM is quite quick. Compared to some MP3 players and smartphones, the volume is really good. It's not a struggle to hear classical music or something like the World Service when you're on the train or walking near a busy road. Digital reception does depend on DAB coverage where you use the radio. When there is good coverage, the audio rarely drops out, if at all. Where the signal is weaker, stations can come and go. Walking around town with a reasonable or poor coverage can become frustrating. Taking the radio onto a train, it was quite impressive with only tunnels really affecting the signal. Power comes from 2 AA batteries. There's no power input or charger, so when the batteries are flat they can be replaced by opening a door on the back of the radio. Roberts say the batteries should last 10 to 18 hours and this seems fairly accurate. Overall, the Roberts SportsDAB5 is a good personal radio for under £60. Visit our website digitalradiochoice.com for the full review and current prices on the Roberts SportsDAB5. Subscribe for more videos like this and comment below if you have any questions about the Roberts SportsDAB5.